This is 6 Minutes, the seriously international daily newscast. It's Friday, March 7th. I'm Bertrand Hauger.
And I'm Anne-Sophie Goninet. While people are calling it a day in Adelaide, Australia, the sun is rising in Bogota, Colombia. Here in the World Conch newsroom in Paris, we're about to head out to lunch. These are the latest headlines. Russia carries out a massive attack on Ukraine's energy and gas infrastructure. Clashes between Syrian government forces and Assad loyalists kill at least 70 people. And our daily quiz question comes from Denmark. Our top story today: Russia launched a large-scale missile and drone attack on Ukraine's energy infrastructure overnight, targeting key sites across multiple regions and causing significant damage. At least 18 people, including 4 children, were wounded. Meanwhile, European leaders reaffirmed their commitment to supporting Ukraine, approving increased defense spending after meeting in Brussels.
Heavy fighting between Syrian security forces and pro-Assad militias in Syria's coastal region has left at least 70 people dead. Clashes erupted in the port cities of Latakia and Tartus, prompting authorities to impose a curfew. This is the most violent confrontation in Syria since rebels ousted President Bashar al-Assad in December. A South Korean court has ordered the release of impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol from jail. The Seoul Central District Court ruled that his arrest period had expired before his indictment in late January, allowing him to stand trial without being detained.
And it's been a chaotic morning at Paris' busiest train station, Gare du Nord, after an unexploded World War II bomb was discovered on the tracks during maintenance work in a Saint-Denis suburb. Eurostar and local train services were temporarily halted as minesweepers secured the site. Disruptions are expected to last throughout the day. Now let's take a closer look at what the international press is covering.
Mexico-based daily El Universal's top headline is about the US putting the brakes again on tariffs after President Donald Trump announced he would delay the 25% tariffs imposed earlier this week on most goods from Canada and Mexico. The temporary exemption is now set to expire on April 2nd, when Trump said reciprocal tariffs could be imposed on all US trading partners. German magazine Der Spiegel is focused on the US too. This week, the cover is an illustration of a very aggressive-looking Statue of Liberty, with Donald Trump peeking from the statue's crown. The headline: America's New Face.
Belgian daily Le Soir devotes its front page to the recent meetings in Brussels between European leaders and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky under the headline Europe United Behind Ukraine, and between parentheses in smaller font, except for Hungary, after Prime Minister Viktor Orban refused to back common language on support for Ukraine. We have a review from Egypt-based news site Al-Manassa of the documentary No Other Land by a Palestinian-Israeli collective, which just won an Academy Award and was met with critical success. Bertrand, can you tell us more?
Egyptian filmmaker Basil Ramses writes that the documentary, by a Palestinian-Israeli collective, has been successful because it has satisfied multiple and divergent audiences at the same time through the friendship of its protagonists, Basil, the young Palestinian man, and Yuval, a young Israeli journalist and political activist opposing displacement and home demolitions in the West Bank, standing in solidarity with Palestinians. Yet, the film never evokes the idea that there is another land for Palestinians, historic Palestine, because it never ventures into the minefields of questioning Israel's legitimacy. The film's success at European festivals, in solidarity with Palestinians, is almost guaranteed, which leads Basil Ramses to ask the troubling question: would this film have achieved such recognition if it had only a Palestinian director?
We have an analysis piece from Persian-language London-based media Kayan, which says that Donald Trump may choose to deal with Iran in an even more draconian way than with Ukraine. Journalist Hamed Mohammadi writes that Trump's maximum pressures on Iran, meant ostensibly to avoid war, may in fact make military action more likely. For Tehran, the journalist continues, accepting the US president's conditions would be akin to an act of self-destruction. It will resist sanctions as far as it can and is ready to punish Iranians should they return to the streets. We're closing things out today with our daily quiz question, which comes from Denmark. What has the Scandinavian country's postal service announced it will stop doing at the end of this year? Is it A. Selling stamps, B. Delivering letters, C. Letting Vikings handle heavy parcels, or D. Handling postcards from Sweden? The correct answer is B. Denmark's state-run postal service announced it would stop all letter deliveries at the end of this year due to a 90% decline in letter volume since the start of the century. Denmark's transport minister said letters would still be sent and received as, quote, there is a free market for both letters and parcels.
That's the latest from around the world. If you liked this podcast, we'd really appreciate it if you could help us out with a follow, share, and 5-star rating on your preferred podcasting platform. For more of the best of the international press, delivered exclusively in English, visit us at walcrunch.com. We'll see you on Monday for another episode of 6 Minutes. Bon weekend!